The voice in your head is either building your future or quietly destroying it. And most people are saying the wrong things to themselves every single day. By the end of this video, you will know exactly what to say to rewire your confidence, focus, and self-respect. Think about the last time you were lying in bed at 2 a.m., unable to sleep because your mind was replaying a mistake you made 3 years ago. Or that moment right after a major failure when the first thing you did was whisper a harsh insult to yourself. Think about the heavy silence that fills the room when you are procrastinating on a massive project, or the bitter taste of comparison when you see someone else's highlight reel on social media. We have all been there. The problem is that most of our self-talk is reactive, emotional, and completely accidental. You aren't choosing your thoughts, you are reacting to your environment. But here is the secret. Elite performers talk to themselves very differently. It is not about generic positive affirmations or looking in the mirror and lying to yourself. It is about something much more clinical and effective. To understand how to change your life, you have to understand the core idea behind your internal dialogue. Your self-talk consists of instructions your brain follows without ever questioning them. Your brain treats your own voice as the ultimate authority. When you say, "I'm so tired," your brain begins to search for physiological evidence of fatigue. When you say, "I'm bad with names," your brain stops trying to store that information. You don't actually need more motivation to change your life, you simply need better instructions. There are 3 specific types of things you should say to yourself, and most people are currently getting all 3 of them wrong. Let's look at the first scenario, what to say after you fail. Most people make the mistake of self-insulting, using emotional exaggeration, and launching identity attacks. They say things like, "I'm a loser," or "I always mess things up." This is a catastrophic error because it turns a temporary event into a permanent personality trait. Instead, you need a replacement framework: fact, control, and next action. This framework works because it removes the blinding fog of emotion and restores your sense of agency. When something goes wrong, start with the fact. Say to yourself, "The project did not meet the deadline." That is an objective observation. Next, identify the control. Say, "This part of the delay was on me because I didn't manage my morning routine correctly." Finally, state the next action. "Here's what I do next. I am going to email the client now and set a timer for my deep work session tomorrow." Do you see the difference? You aren't coddling yourself, but you aren't destroying your spirit either. You're acting as a high-level manager for your own mind. This removes the emotional weight of failure and allows you to pivot instantly. But while managing failure is important, it is actually the least powerful form of self-talk. Wait until you hear what you need to say right before you take action. When you are about to step into a difficult situation, your brain often shifts into fear-based self-talk. You start overthinking, future tripping, and catastrophizing every possible negative outcome. You ask yourself, what if I look stupid? Or what if they say no? This creates a physiological stress response that freezes your ability to perform. To combat this, you must introduce command-style self-talk. Command-style talk is short, neutral, and strictly action-focused. The human brain actually responds much better to direct commands than it does to soft encouragement. Instead of saying, "I hope I can do this," or "I should try to stay calm," you use short directives. Say, "Focus on the first step." Say, "Shoulders back." Say, "Speak clearly." This type of talk bypasses the emotional centers of the brain and speaks directly to the motor cortex and the executive function. This is how you shatter procrastination and move through anxiety. When you give yourself a command, you remove the option for a debate. Procrastination is just a long, drawn-out debate you are having with yourself. By using command-style talk, you end the debate and start the work. This is the key to making decisions under pressure. But there is a hidden danger that most people never see coming. The most dangerous self-talk actually happens when you are alone and things are finally going well. This brings us to section 3, what to say when things are going well. It sounds counterintuitive, but success often triggers a profound sense of identity discomfort. When you start winning, your old self-image begins to feel threatened. This is when self-sabotage kicks in. You might start thinking, "I just got lucky," or "This won't last." To prevent this, you need identity reinforcing self-talk. This isn't about feeding your ego or telling yourself you are a genius. It is about reinforcing your behavior and the process, not the outcome. Instead of saying, "I am the best," say, "This progress is a direct result of my consistency." Instead of focusing on the praise you are receiving, focus on the process. Say to yourself, "I am the type of person who stays disciplined even when things are easy." This aligns your success with your identity, making your wins feel permanent rather than accidental. When you reinforce the behavior that led to the win, you make that behavior failure more likely to happen again in the future. This is how true, unshakable confidence is built. It isn't a feeling, it's a documented history of your own actions that you have acknowledged to yourself. None of this works, however, without the one golden rule that makes self-talk effective. You must never speak to yourself in a way you wouldn't coach someone you deeply care about. If you saw a friend struggle, you wouldn't tell them they are a worthless failure. You would be honest about the mistake, but you would immediately pivot to how they can improve. Tone matters more than mindless positivity. Your brain recognizes the difference between a supportive coach and a delusional cheerleader. Your inner voice is the primary authority in your life. It is the narrator of your reality. Your brain believes repetition, not hype. If you repeat a command often enough, it becomes a reflex. If you repeat a factual assessment often enough, it becomes your truth. First, I would like to present you with a challenge that lasts for 24 hours. For the following day, I want you to make a conscious effort to listen to what you say to yourself. You shouldn't try to make all of the changes at once. Simply identify one particular word that you say to yourself that is completely detrimental. Perhaps it is something that you say when you look in the mirror or when you run a red light. You should catch it, put a halt to it, and then replace it with a single sentence that is action-oriented and objective. You should stop stating, "I'm always late," and replace it with, "I am heading to my destination now and will plan better the next time." If you find yourself saying this, you should stop saying it. In order to begin the process of rewiring your brain, the first step is to simply interrupt yourself. I would like for you to go down to the comments section right now and type the phrase that you intend to remove from your vocabulary, and then type the word that you intend to replace it with. The act of writing anything down transforms it into a commitment. As you continue to go through the comments, you will come to the realization that practically everyone is engaged in the same argument within themselves. You are not the only one who feels this way. The voice that always seems to be in your thoughts is never quiet. Beginning at the moment you open your eyes and continuing until the moment you close them again, it will be the only continuous companion you will have. Although it is not possible to turn it off, you are able to alter the text that it displays. You have the ability to shift that voice from one that is critical and holds you back into one that is assuring and propels you ahead. Verify that the voice you are hearing is working for you and not against you. A brick is placed in the foundation of your future with each and every word that you utter to yourself. Create something that is capable of withstanding the passage of time. Your internal monologue is the most effective instrument you have at your disposal. It should be used with purpose. Make use of it with confidence. Most importantly, make use of it to transform yourself into the person you were always destined to be. The very next idea that you think is the first step on your journey toward a more positive mental attitude. Put your best foot forward.